Cuando yo viajaba por el mundo, toda la vida llegaba y me preguntaba, bueno, ¿quién soy yo? Nada, no encontraba respuesta por ninguna parte. Where do I come from? Después, ¿dónde está mi tierra? ¿Dónde está la patria? Una cosa tan añorada por uno siempre, toda la vida. No, I didn't find any answer for that.
What is an accent? Everyone has one. Accents correlate with social class, religious affiliation, educational level, political groupings, and of course, geographical upbringing. Hamid Nafisi expands the theory of accented cinema in his text, Situating Accented Cinema. He writes, "They are simultaneously local and global. The best of accented films signify upon the conditions both of exile and diaspora, and of cinema, allegorizing, commenting upon, and critiquing the home and the deterritorialized conditions of the filmmakers." Let's begin with Hollywood. As the dominant cinema, it's free from overt ideology or accent. By that logic, all film industries outside of Hollywood have their own accents, aesthetic and theoretic traits that can be geographically placed.
I've got an Indian accent, and I'll have to work on that because I'll have to at least neutralize it. Since I've been speaking like this since the past 25 years, I'll have to work on it.
Listen to the following phrases and notice the linking.
A majority of accented filmmakers have relocated from the so-called Third World or Global South, entering northern cosmopolitan centers. They exist in a state of dissension with both their original and current homes.
This country has its rules.
Can we speak about it? Sure.
I'm gonna confront you. This is what you want for your camera, and I won't do this.
These filmmaker styles can't be associated with a single cinematic movement because of their nomadic tendencies. Nafisi differentiates accented cinema into three categories: exile, diasporic, and ethnic. Traditionally, exile refers to banishment for a particular offense with prohibition of return. Exilic filmmakers' authority comes from their position as subjects inhabiting interstitial spaces and sites of struggle. Similarly, diasporic narratives often begin with trauma, rupture, coercion. Diaspora involves the scattering of populations to places outside of their homeland.
Have you ever been?
Where?
Nigeria.
Never. My mum wanted to. Couldn't afford it.
Wish I could. I have this feeling I'd be happy there.
The first piece was really there's a young woman talking about Nigeria, that she has a feeling she'll be happy there. These are the sentiments of someone that's been away from home, and that was something that I went through, and I'm still going through. I've not been home for quite a while, for about 5 years now. I've been away. You just need something to hold on to, especially in a society where you feel alienated.
The diaspora can be further broken down into subcategories: victim refugee diasporas, labor service diasporas, trade business diasporas, imperial colonial diasporas, and hybrid diasporas. Post-colonial and ethnic identity filmmakers are both ethnic and diasporic, but they differ from the post-studio American ethnics. Many of them are immigrants themselves or have been born in the West since the 1960s. Ethnic identity films tend to deal with what has been characterized as the central drama in American culture, emphasizing bloodline and ethnicity, stressing self-made and contractual affiliations. Think of it this way. Diaspora films are concerned with being. Ethnic films are concerned with becoming.
دستوی تریشم بریا.
بچه مدار راکت منی زیاد طاقتم
نازانم بۆچی ئەمە دو جارە بابی جان
تۆ مجارە وڵێ ئێمە دو جارە ئێمە پێکەوەتی نەبێ پێکێشەوە بڕۆین.
A few films fall neatly into the 3 separate categories, while the majority share characteristics of all 3 categories combined. Accented filmmakers are the products of this dual post-colonial displacement and postmodern scattering. From cinematic traditions, they acquire one set of voices, and from exile and diasporic traditions, they acquire a second. In general, accented films operate independently, outside of the studio system, or mainstream film industries. Accented films are usually shot on lower gauge film stock, like 16mm or Super 8, or on video, making a virtue of their low-tech quality.
Phận gái tứ đức giảng tuyền, công dung ngôn hành họ công dung ngôn hành giữ gìn chẳng sai.
Multilinguality can frequently be found in accented films. The use of language of the filmmakers and their crew complexifies the narratives and audiences whom they address. Language is almost never taken for granted. In fact, it's often a theme and self-reflexive agent of narration and identity.
I suppose he's wondering why you're not communicating with him in the same way. After all, you've always been your father's daughter. And I remember that before you and I made those tapes and photographs together during your last visit, your letters were always mainly addressing him.
As Nafisi states, by its artisanal and collective mode of production, its subversion of the spectator positioning, and its critical juxtaposition of different worlds, languages, and culture, accented films critique the dominant cinema.
Han aprendido muchas cosas. Où avez-vous appris toutes ces langues? Wo haben Sie so viele Sprachen gelernt? Vous avez une très bonne mémoire.
Now that you speak our language a little bit better and I understand you better, was machst du damit, was ich weiß und was du mir gesagt hast? Was wirst du machen?